Monique's interview on Club Shay Shay was insane. She exposed everybody. Much like the Cat Williams interview, Monique came into the interview with a clear agenda to expose everybody, but she executed it well. Now, Monique started off exposing people who we already knew she had issues with, such as Tyler Perry.
Tyler Perry called me. Lionsgate called. When you were on the phone with my husband, you said, I agree with Monique. I agree with the position she's taking. But when it came time to say it out loud, Oprah Winfrey went totally silent. Now, to Tyler Perry's credit, Tyler Perry called us up, right? And he said, I can see the pain in you and I can hear it. And I want to let you know that I would never do nothing to hurt you.
If you ask anybody, Monique's most iconic role is Precious. I mean, she won awards for it. It's critically acclaimed. She did her thing. Now, when she was approached to do the movie Precious and play Precious' mama, Lee Daniels told her, it's an independent film. We only have $50,000 for you, but the script is amazing. If you do this movie, it's going to work out best for all of us. So she did the movie for $50,000. Now, the movie ended up being backed by Lionsgate and Oprah and Lee Daniels. So Monique felt as if the $50,000 was a lowball, but she already agreed to it, so she went through with the movie. However, when it was time to promote the movie and go overseas to friends in other countries to promote the movie Precious, Monique was asking for more money, because Lionsgate is asking her now to do things that is not in her contract. She took $50,000 to act in a movie. The promotional services is an additional fee. So Lionsgate wanted Monique to go overseas for free and promote the movie. Monique said no. So Lionsgate pretty much painted Monique as a monster and tried to blackball her. And behind the scenes, Lee Daniels, Tyler Perry, and Oprah will call Monique and tell her, yo, they're doing you wrong, but they wouldn't say it publicly. But in the instance of Tyler Perry, not only did Tyler Perry call Monique and let her know, yo, sis, man, they're doing you wrong, but Tyler Perry will also admit to Monique that he was one of the ones who contributed to spreading the rumors that she was difficult to work with.
But the conversation kept going on, only for Tyler Perry to admit he did start a rumor that I was difficult to work with. He lied.
What Tyler Perry did was a scumbag move, but am I really surprised? No, because there's always that one bootlicker and shuck and java in the industry who goes against the grain and goes against other creators. Even if Monique was difficult to work with, she was still going to battle with the infrastructure and the executives, and her fight was a fight for other creators, where the industry wanted to underpay them and overwork them. And Tyler Perry, even having those comments to say about Monique while she's in the middle of fighting for other creators, just shows where Tyler Perry aligns himself. He aligns himself with the infrastructure more than the creators. Now, when Monique was coming on Club Shay Shay, she knew she wanted to speak about this, so she went ahead and sent the audio of Tyler Perry confessing to this. Now, Shannon Sharpe never played the audio on his podcast, but I do have a snippet from that particular call where Tyler Perry seemingly admits that Monique was indeed blackballed because she didn't conform and play ball. And he even admitted, that he was wrong, for spreading the rumors about Monique.
The community is involved, and they want to see how it's going to play out. Because the community is saying, wait a minute, hold up. We don't know this sister to be no bullshitter. We know she a loudmouth. We know she'll say some shit off the wall, but what we know about it is she true to her word.
And all I would ask you is two questions. The first question is, did you not just say it was wrong?
Tyler.
Did you not just say it was wrong, Tyler? To say she was difficult for not doing something that she was not contractually obligated to do? Did you not say that you would feel that that was wrong? Or am I missing something?
I absolutely said that, yes.
So the question I would say is...
Okay, is there a number? Taking that back to them was just a huge problem, okay? And I'm listen to David Talbot thing in a minute, because I just watched your podcast, and it really broke my heart, because number one, I feel you. I feel the sadness that's from you in all of this. And I don't want you to feel that. I mean, especially from me. I can't speak for anybody else. But from me, I'm not anyone that wants to hurt or offend anybody, especially you. I think you are brilliantly talented. I think you should have a lot more happening that you from that award. I thought for sure that if you had campaigned and won it and played by their rules, what would have happened is in the next deal, you would have got more money, millions of dollars, and your career in the film would have been much different.
He's comfortable owning up to the fact that Lionsgate was doing Monique wrong and that he was wrong for spreading a rumor that Monique was being difficult when in fact she was just sticking up for herself. You guys paid me $50,000 to do a movie that was already a hit box office wise, and you guys are not paying me any more money, and now you want me to overwork myself and fly overseas for months to do promo services, and you don't want to pay me for that as well? It's insane. Now, Tyler Perry comments will prove to be really destructive for Monique and take money out her mouth, because Monique would explain, that because of Tyler Perry comments about her, that she was presented with the opportunity to do Empire, and that was snatched away from her because Tyler Perry told executives that she was hard to work with.
See, when Lee Daniels says to me, because Cookie from the show Empire, I was offered that role. Now, Taraji tore it up, baby. Listen here. However, I was offered that. Then Felita called me back and say, baby girl, they said you're too difficult to work with. But you hear on the audio that a man told David Talbot I was difficult to work with. Do you see how that cost my family?
Yes.
And with no accountability? Because, it's the great Tyler Perry? No, you've got to be accountable for that.
I 100% agree, and I don't know why Monique hasn't sued yet, because that rumor directly affected Monique getting gigs, and she has proof of it. Now, Monique wants Tyler Perry to be held accountable, and she tried. She reached out to mutual friends of theirs. She first reached out to Reverend Al Sharpton and told Al Sharpton what was going on, and Al Sharpton told her, Tyler Perry is absolutely wrong. I'm going to talk to him and make sure he makes this right. But then 6 months later, Al Sharpton sold out to Tyler Perry and stopped talking to Monique.
There were people that reached out to Tyler Perry on my behalf.
Okay.
And I was grateful for that. Okay. There was Al Sharpton, the Reverend Al Sharpton, civil rights leader.
Yeah.
I sent him that audio. He listened to it. He said, baby, what that man did to you was wrong, and you're like my daughter. And we're going to have to get him to fix that.
Right.
We didn't hear from Al Sharpton for 6 months. The next time we saw Al Sharpton, he was on a podium talking about we don't need to fly commercial because we can fly Tyler Perry's private jet. I said, that's why maybe I'm not hearing back from him. Okay?
Am I surprised that Al Sharpton switched team to the person with the better bag? No. Al Sharpton has been accused of being a grifter for the last 50 years, bro. It's no surprise. As a matter of fact, I'm more surprised that Monique thought that Al Sharpton would have took the virtuous stand and went against the bag. Like, you're out of your mind. Now, what's even more crazy about this, though, is that even though Tyler Perry is 100% wrong, mutual associates of Monique and Tyler Perry contacted Tyler Perry to sort of make it right and have him make it right with Monique. And his response was arrogant, pompous, condescending. He even asked Monique to apologize to him.
Okay. Then we had our beautiful sister, Stephanie Mills.
Yes.
Okay. Who is, she don't play.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I told her what happened, sent her the audio. Now, I don't know if she listened to that audio or not. But however, she called Tyler Perry. She said, Monique, Tyler Perry does not want to revisit this. Okay, fine.
Right.
While we're on the phone, Tyler Perry calls her back and says, I will meet with Monique, but not with her husband. Now, you ready for this?
Yeah.
And then Monique has to apologize publicly to say Oprah and I had nothing to do with messing up her career.
But that'd be a lie.
Look in the goddamn camera.
I thought that was a stage, the way you...
Look in the camera.
Yes.
Because you heard it.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So when you hear what this man is saying, so I said, Stephanie, tell Tyler Perry, never will I meet with him without my husband. And I owe no apology, so I'm not going to give one.
This isn't even a Hollywood issue. It's a people issue. When bad people have leverage over you, they treat you poorly, they exploit you and do you wrong. And when you have an issue or get sick of them exploiting you and doing you wrong, once you stick up for yourself, now it's beef. Now it's war. Because you have the gall, right? You have the self-esteem to stick up to them when everybody else is going to lay over because, they're in a subservient position. Well, Monique also exposed Kevin Hart, but the Kevin Hart thing is weird because Kevin Hart and Tyler Perry are kind of intertwined, at least their stories with Monique, because Kevin Hart interviewed Monique to sort of help Monique, and he started off as a helping hand, even lending her money.
Kevin Hart. Now, you know when Cat Williams said gatekeepers?
Yes.
Kevin Hart, I do his podcast.
Yes.
And I want y'all to re-listen to the podcast so you can hear it for yourself. When he first comes on, he says, "You're like my mother. You're like my aunt. You're like my sister." Okay? Then we do the podcast. We speak about the Tyler Perry situation. Oprah Winfrey, he said, "I don't really know Oprah, but I'm going to reach out to Tyler." I appreciate that. Kevin kept his word. He reached out to Tyler Perry. Kevin Hart called me back about maybe a week or so later. He said, "Mo, I talked to Tyler. He said he don't want to revisit it." He said, "But I tell you what, let's move past that, Mo. Let's just move past that and let's just do great things. So whatever
That's what Kevin said.
I want you to hear me, Kevin Hart. Let's move past that, Mo. Let's do some great things together. Don't even worry about it. Whatever y'all want to do, I will partner with you. I'll executive produce with you. You just let me know what you want to do." Now, let me say that before we go any further, because I want to make sure I give Kevin Hart his proper credit. When my family was up against the wall, Kevin Hart wrote us a check and said, "Here you go." We're forever grateful for that. When we were able to give it back, we said, "Brother, we appreciate you," with some interest on top, because I don't ever want nobody to think
Feel like they
me and my
gave up.
husband.
But then things went from right to left fairly quickly. Like within a 2-week time frame, Kevin Hart went from writing them checks, doing them good, to never speaking to them again.
So I want to make sure I put that out there. That brother really helped us out when we needed to be helped out. Then when he came back with, "I got you," I didn't ask Kevin Hart to do anything. He said, "I'll executive produce. I'll partner with you." I said, "Good shit, Kevin," because we're in a deal with Endemol. And we're trying to get our talk show back. Mo, whatever it is, I got you. Now, Kevin Hart is one of the biggest entertainers right now in the world, right?
Correct.
And was then. We got off the phone with Kevin Hart. We called Endemol immediately and said, Kevin Hart said, whatever we want to do, he got us. He's going to partner, executive use. They was like, "Oh, this is incredible," because when you put Kevin Hart's name on it, you already know what it is.
Correct.
2 weeks go by. We get a call from Endemol. Endemol says, "We just got a call from Kevin Hart's manager, Dave Becky." And Dave Becky said, "Kevin doesn't want anything to do with Monique. So whatever she told y'all, he doesn't want to do anything with her, nothing. He doesn't want any kind of relationship with Monique."
I feel like there's a little more to the story we're not getting. It's hard for me to believe that you go from "we're best of friends, you remind me of my mama," writing you checks, to "oh, I don't mess with them," right? And "I'll never mess with them." There's something missing. Now, until we know, we only have to go off of what's available. Now, it could be that Kevin Hart's management team was looking out for his best interest and telling him, "Yo, Kevin, you working with Monique is going to isolate you from Tyler Perry and Oprah. It's best you not do that." So his management team went out of their way to let production know, "We don't mess with Monique." So maybe they said that on Kevin Hart's behalf to look out for Kevin Hart. Maybe, but even at that, though, the onus is still on Kevin Hart to call Monique and let Monique know beforehand, "Yo, I don't mess with you no more, Hairswire," or "Yo, Monique, I can't work with you because of this and this and this." Right? You don't tell her one thing and then never update her. And then once she lets the company know, "Yo, Kevin Hart is a go for this project," you call Kevin Hart's team and now you make her out to be a liar. Well, Monique decided to give Kevin Hart a call to ask Kevin Hart what was going on. And Kevin Hart apparently played dumb on the phone and played nice. And then once the phone got hung up, he never picked up again.
So what changed between the 2 weeks and plus he gave you a check, you gave the money back, then said he would partner with you, executive produce, whatever you need, Mo, hey, we got you. So what transpired, or what do you think transpired between then, that 2 week period?
Well, soon as we got off the phone and they told us what Kevin's manager, David Becky, said, I called Kevin Hart immediately. I said, "Hey, baby, we just got off the phone with Endemol," and they said Dave Becky called them up and said, "You don't want anything to do with me." He said, "Mo, that's a miscommunication. I can tell you right now." I said, "Wait a minute. Are you okay, though, with this white man calling them up? Getting in between our relationship after something you said?" He said, "Mo, that's a miscommunication, and we're going to talk Tuesday. Don't worry about it. I'm telling you right now, it's a miscommunication." That was 2 years ago. If you talk to him, I talk to him. I've never talked back to Kevin Hart again. So that's what we're faced with.
If everything played out the way it played out, then Kevin Hart is absolutely wrong. But I feel like for this Kevin Hart situation, there's just so many holes that I would have to wait before I make my judgment in terms of Kevin Hart's character. Because to go from writing checks for somebody's family and showing them love to not speaking to them ever again, I feel like that's a huge timeline, and we have to know what happened in between. But she even moved on to speak about her particular issues with Oprah. Now, she started off by saying that Oprah deliberately took a couple of roles away from her on purpose. Like, Oprah would even call in after knowing that the role has been offered to Monique and tell them, no, I want the role for myself. And she would get the role because Oprah have to bag for the production.
The movie The Butler, that movie was offered to me. Lee Daniels came out and said, I did offer Monique The Butler. But as he said to me, he said, Mo, at the time I didn't have no power and I didn't have no money. So when Oprah said she wanted it, so who played the lead role in The Butler? Oprah Winfrey. Lee Daniels was getting ready to do a biopic on Richard Pryor, and he offered me the grandmother. Who then calls Lee Daniels and says, I want to be the grandmother. So as you're looking at me, it's the same way I'm looking at that sister. And I'm saying, why don't we sit down and have a conversation? Because the way things could look, it may not be that way, but just the way things look, Oprah. Just the way you would have my family on your show, Oprah.
One might,
Even though that may appear as spiteful and petty, there's still some plausible deniability there. Maybe they never told Oprah the role was for Monique. Maybe Oprah thought the role was open and she applied and they decided, yo, we're going to go with Oprah instead of Monique. Who knows, right? So taking roles as petty, I don't think there's any maliciousness there, but it gets a little malicious on Oprah's part when Oprah interviewed Monique's brother about him touching Monique inappropriately when they were kids.
Why do you want to be here today, Gerald?
I'm here today to first acknowledge what I've been in denial for 37 years. And that is, I did assault and inappropriately touch my sister in manners that were not comfortable for her. And for that, I apologize, and I'm humbly sorry.
2 years ago, Monique revealed she had been molested by her brother and used that pain to give her Oscar-winning performance in Precious.
Some may think that you're only doing this to get into the good graces of your sister now because she has an Academy Award.
Now, I'm doing this to apologize to my sister, to hopefully bring back some family unity.
As for their relationship now, Monique recently told Barbara Walters there is none.
Did your brother ever apologize to you?
The apology that I got from my brother is, if you think I did something wrong, then I'm sorry.
Me personally, I don't care what the reason is. Oprah interviewing Monique's brother who touched her as a kid after she wins an Oscar. Like, Oprah doing this in Monique's crowning moment, to me, is petty, is foul, and is messed up. But apparently Monique didn't have an issue with Oprah interviewing the brother specifically, because when Oprah called Monique for permission, Monique gave Oprah permission.
This woman has overstepped with me in so many ways that somebody would say, if we wasn't Monique and Oprah Winfrey in the entertainment business, and we was Monique and Oprah Winfrey that worked at Costco, I see you in the break room. I see you at your cash register. When Oprah Winfrey called me up, and she said, I got a call from your brother. And this is after I won the Oscar award, right? And your brother wants to come on the show, and he wants to apologize to you for molesting you. And he wants to tell other people how to look out for a predator.
right.
I said, Oprah, I said, I don't want anything to do with that cat. I said, and then she said, well, if you want me to scratch the show, I will scratch it. I said, sis, don't scratch it because he could be a different person. And I don't want to get in the way if that cat is a different person. I just don't want no parts of it.
Right.
Okay?
But if you watch that special when Oprah dropped it, Oprah didn't just interview the brother. Oprah brought on Monique's entire family to pretty much gossip about Monique and validate the brother. But Oprah knew beforehand that she was bringing on Monique's mama, her daddy, her other siblings, and she never told her. So Oprah was on the phone with Monique and presented it as, yo, your brother is coming on to help us help other victims. But in fact, no, Oprah was being messy and brought on the whole family. And when Monique found out that Oprah actually brought on her entire family, including her mama, Monique was upset, angry, irate that Oprah would betray her in such a manner.
When I hung up that phone, Shannon, I was like, I appreciate that sister. Like, she didn't have to call me.
She didn't?
She didn't have to call me and say, I'm going to have your brother.
Right.
I start seeing commercials with my mother and my father and my other brother who used to be my manager, who knew the fear that I had with the brother that was up on stage, right? We never talked about my mother being there.
She never told you that.
You know how you feel about your grandparents?
Yes, absolutely.
You know the honor and how you speak about them? Imagine you then seeing your granddaddy and your grandmama on a show, and they're talking about somebody that violated you, and that woman didn't tell you that they were going to be there. How would you feel?
I would feel like you felt betrayed.
That is exactly how I felt.
It's another scumbag move. It's sleazy, it's messed up. Oprah got a moment on Monique's behalf, but instead of being honest with Monique and letting Monique know, I don't care about your feelings, because I can respect that. If you tell me, hey, bro, I don't care about your feelings, man, we not homies, I don't like you, I'm about to violate you, I'm about to do this on your behalf. Okay, right, now I know how to move. Now I know how to respond. But if you come to me and play nice and play as if you're my friend and you're asking for permission, when you know in the back of your head you're not telling me the full story and I'm giving you permission out of context, to me that's just a scumbag move. But according to Monique, Oprah never apologized at all. If you're in this industry and you have the leverage and you are the billionaire, then why would you feel the need to apologize to somebody who is on the level that Monique is on? Oprah thought she had the leverage, but Monique showed she actually had the leverage because she had the ears of the people, which is why Monique is applying pressure now on Oprah and Tyler Perry, and people are scattering and doing PR work. Now, Monique also revealed that she has a beef with D.L. Hughley, which is really not shocking, right? Because Monique and D.L. Hughley has been beefing for a while now. The most recent beef before her comments on Club Shay Shay about D.L. was when they was both in Detroit at a comedy show. Now, apparently, D.L. refused to go on stage before Monique. So Monique went on stage and sort of aired him out for refusing to go on stage and perform after him because he felt as if he was too good to be an opener for Monique. But Monique said that she signed up and signed her contract to be the headliner. So D.L. now trying to undermine the contract and go on stage after her isn't going to fly, and she's not going to stand for it.
The mother contract said that a bitch is the headliner. The headliner. Let me say it again. The headliner. That's what the motherfucking contract says. Monique is to be the last motherfucking person on the goddamn stage. She is the headliner. That's what I signed the fuck up for. I'm 30 plus years in this motherfucking business and I don't open for no goddamn body. The contract said the headliner. The contract said the headliner. The contract said the headliner. But a nigga named D.L. Hughley turned into a bitch and said I won't perform if she does that. I won't go out if she does that. Nigga, you open for the kings of comedy. I close for the queens of comedy, nigga.
I can understand why Monique will feel as if D.L. Hughley is undermining her when he states that he's refusing to open up for her. But both things could be true. Monique could feel as if she deserves to be a headliner, and D.L. Hughley can also feel as if, yo, I've been in this game for 30 years. I'm not opening up for nobody. I feel like both those things could be true. But apparently bad blood was already there because D.L. Hughley went on tour and criticized Monique while he was on tour, and Monique took note of that, and she made sure to bring that up while she was on stage in Detroit. Now, apparently while this is all going on, D.L. Hughley is backstage listening to everything.
I don't fuck with nobody. I don't fuck with no motherfucking body. But when you cross the line with me, nigga, you have crossed the motherfucking line. And that bitch, nigga, has crossed the motherfucking line. See, we got a history, nigga. We got a history. That nigga went on a tour talking about all Monique wasn't. You can Google it right now. D.L. Hughley on Monique, all I wasn't, what I wasn't worth, all of this bullshit, and nigga, you put your feet under my motherfucking table. See, you came to my home, nigga, and you put your feet under my motherfucking table. I don't get down like that, goddammit. You got a bitch wrong. You talk about Young Thug, and cause of their names, nigga, your name is D.L. What the fuck does it stand for? Hey, how far you bending over, nigga, on the D.L.? You fuck with the wrong one? That's my family, nigga. I'm home, nigga.
I'm always against any creator who opens up their mouth and speak on what another creator deserves. If Monique is going to war with the executives and the infrastructure and telling the infrastructure and her audience that they're undermining her and underpaying her, and you as a comedian go on tour and state that Monique is being difficult and that Monique ain't worth nothing, to me, that's just crazy and ludicrous. I don't even understand why you would say that, right? Because if Monique wins, if Monique somehow manages to raise the pay bar, right, for black comedians or other comedians of a similar caliber, that only helps DL. DL Hughley will respond back once the clip of Monique started to go viral. He will say, all you had to do is check the order of names on the ticket stub from last night, and you will see who's confused. Against my better judgment, over the objections of my team and 4 other occasions where I said no, I decided to take a chance and work with Monique. Oprah was the problem. Tyler Perry was the problem. Charlamagne was the problem. Steve Harvey was the problem. Lee Daniels was the problem. Netflix was the problem. Now it's my turn. At some point, it can't be everyone else. It's you. Lesson learned. I didn't have anything personal against Monique. People paid a lot of money to laugh, not to hear about your contract. Apparently, the role you played in Precious turned out to be an autobiography. I wonder who's next. DL would then go on to share a memo document that he states is his proof that he was always the headliner and that Monique is just outright lying or confused. Monique would then respond back by sharing her contract that states that she's the headliner, and she will say that the document that DL shared is a memo. A memo is what you are requesting or what you are drafting up. DL official contract doesn't include him being the headliner in that contract because the headliner went to Monique. But I thought, just by watching this, that I knew where their entire beef or their timeline went. But apparently I was wrong, because while on Club Shay Shay, Monique actually revealed some never-before-heard details as to why her and DL Hughley started beefing in the first place, which somewhat explains why he even went on tour and said that Monique don't deserve nothing.
What?
Because, what would you get ready to say?
I was gonna say, what did DL do?
Let me tell you. Baby, that voice went up, didn't it? DL is friend. He like, that's my friend.
No, I've met DL on several occasions. I don't know DL like that.
Okay.
Do I know DL say like I know an earthquake? No. Do I know, since I've interviewed Kat, had several conversations with him, do I know DL on that level? No.
Right. See, when we say family is sacred,
Right.
Family is sacred. And we know that you don't cross the line when it comes to family.
Correct.
Right? I do DL's radio show.
Yes.
DL Hughley is not there. His team is there. Mm-hmm. And Shannon, we having a great time. I mean, baby, we having a great time. We going forward, back and forth. When we get to the end of the show, they say, Monique, you want to play a game? Well, I want to play. I said, sure, sugar. Let's play a game. And it's a game called Would You Rather. They said, Monique, we want to play a game of Would You Rather. Let's go. Would you rather your husband sleep with Lee Daniels with a condom or Corinne Steffens without one?
Really? Come on, bruh. Come on, bruh. Niggas, man. Yo, it's like they didn't know they were talking to an Oscar award winner. Now I can understand the drinks is flowing, things are getting wild, and you ask that question to an OnlyFans model or a porn star, okay. But you're asking that question to Monique, an Oscar award winner. Which would she rather? Her husband sleeping with a gay man or her husband sleeping with the biggest slur in hip-hop history? Like, come on, bro. Like, be for real here, man. Like, what answer was they expecting? Now, the worst part about this is that they was representing D.L. Hughley because this is D.L. Hughley's radio show or radio station, and he just wasn't there that day. But Monique gave them a pretty profound answer, and she called D.L. Hughley. Now, according to her, when she contacted D.L. Hughley, his response to exactly what her concerns were or to what his employees did wasn't a response that she was expecting.
Really, Monique?
Now, as y'all are watching right now who haven't heard this story, y'all going, they doing the same thing in the studio. They going, okay. That is exactly what happened. Now, I said to the team, how does that uplift our community? I said, sister, and her name is Jasmine, how could you ask another sister that? Well, we just planned. I said, tell me the joke in that because I don't know what you're insinuating. Then you're involving people that have nothing to do with nothing. Like, what are y'all doing? So I said, I'm going to call my brother. DL. I'm going to call my brother. I call D.L. Hughley on the phone. I say, hey, baby. Yeah.
Huh?
That's how he responds. Yeah.
I wouldn't look too deep into the tone because I've been told I have a real dry tone as well. And folks will interpret that as me being rude when I'm just talking. So his tone, I wouldn't put too much stock into it. But what were his words? Exactly what did he say?
Right? Yeah. Hey, DL. Yeah. I said, listen, I just got off the phone with your team and they wanted to play this game, Would You Rather? And it was like, stupid. Like, asking me about my husband and Lee Daniels and Corinne Steffens, and his exact words were, that's how we do it. I said, DL, how does that uplift our community? And again, I don't know what y'all trying to insinuate, but brother, what you doing? Like I said, that's just how we do it. So it is what it is. Now, it got so ugly that my attorney had to send a cease and desist. So it never aired. So we have, like, when Cat Williams talk and people, truth tellers talk, we have receipts to everything we're saying.
It's always something with these two. It's always some type of underlying hostility. And it's unclear exactly where the underlying hostility came from. Now, when Shannon Sharpe posted his podcast, it took D.L. Hughley approximately 3 seconds to respond back to Monique's claims. Now, he claims that Monique is just a flat-out liar.
But apparently she goes on Club Shay Shay and tells the story about how she came on my radio show and I wasn't there at the time. And my co-host, Jasmine Sanders, played a game that we played all the time with everybody called Would You Rather. She apparently was so offended by that she said she got off. She called me. Monique did, and she said I was very dismissive, like, Monique's a liar. When Monique did call me, I heard her complaints. I listened to her and I pulled the segment. So if I had been as dismissive as she alleges I was, that segment would have aired. It didn't because I respected her wishes.
Back to what I said about tone and perception. His tone could come off as dismissive to Monique, but from his perspective, he could perceive it as, I thought I was being genuine and I thought I was showing how concerned I was and caring I was to Monique. She could perceive it differently. It doesn't mean that any party is lying. It just means that they perceived his words and his tone a little differently. Now, he would also say that Monique's recollection that he was out here like just kicking her back in and talking about her filthily on multiple occasions is not true. He would claim that when Monique asked people who are good with the internet to go ahead and find those clips, he's saying that those clips don't exist because he never said it at all.
It's also befuddles the shit out of me how somebody who as a comedian talks as much shit about everybody else as she does, she has the temerity to be offended about anything as much shit as you say about people. Then she encouraged everybody, allegedly it stems from the fact that I used to always talk about her on video after video, and she encouraged her sweet babies to look at the video and find them. Do that. Do exactly what she says. And you know what you're not going to find? You're not going to find any evidence of that because Monique is a liar. She's lying about that.
DL will continue and he will state and make some real heavy accusations against Monique. He will claims that Monique stated that DL Hughley sat by and watched his daughter get molested and allowed it to happen. And according to DL, that is just defamatory and not true. He will claim that Monique has been the antagonist in their back and forth, and he hasn't done anything to Monique.
But what you will find is Monique talking about some alleged contract dispute we had. Look at the ticket. It says D.L. Hughley, then Monique. She knows the story. But what she did in response to that, she talked about my dog, my wife. This broad even brought out my daughter's personal trauma. My daughter was molested, and Monique brought that shit out and told the world that I allowed my daughter to be raped in front of me. The lying mother.
Monique and her husband was quick to clap back at DL as well. Because after DL made those accusations, Monique and her husband, who she refers to as Daddy, took to their IG Live. Now, they will clarify that DL Hughley is somewhat correct in terms of there was no cease and desist sent out. However, it wasn't until they pushed the issue and put their lawyer on their email thread with DL and demanded he took it down, that's when he took it down.
Our brother, DL Hughley. And we are firm believers on what is right and what is wrong is wrong. Yes. So we got to start off by saying there was an inaccuracy as it regards Monique saying that there was a cease and desist that was given to DL to shut it down. Mm-hmm. What had taken place, to be accurate, was after Monique spoke to Brother DL on that conversation, Brother DL said, what?
Well, after we spoke on that conversation, when we hung up that phone, the last thing he said was, it is what it is. And I said, DL, then we're going to have to get our attorney involved. That's the last thing me and DL Hughley said on that conversation.
When you're telling stories like this, bro, you have to be 100% accurate with the timeline and the information, or else people would take the easy way out and sort of like selective hair and point out like what's not all the way accurate instead of addressing the main source of the information. In this particular situation, it looks like DL Hughley is kind of getting off easy because he pointed out a hole and they are confessing that they were wrong, right? That there was no cease and desist sent out and he took it down, but people will sort of miss the fact that they had to get a lawyer involved and put the lawyer on an email thread for DL Hughley to scrap the entire segment. Now, Monique will also respond back to DL Hughley saying that she blamed him and stated that he was right there and watched his daughter get raped. She will clarify that up.
I posted what you said. And then when you said when you were really going for it with your shades on, and you said, Monique said, I stood by and watched my daughter be raped. DL Hughley, that's your conscience talking to you, brother. I never said that. I never said that. And I want to be a little clear about something else. Never would I try to do anything to harm any of your babies, because we got babies too. So never would I try to do anything to harm your children. However, what I was saying to your daughter and to the other daughters out there, I know what it's like for your daddy to know you've been touched and he not protect you, because my daddy did the same thing. That's what that whole point was. But I was showing why I would call you a coward, brother. I don't think it's brave that you didn't protect your baby.
This is deep. And to think that we got here over what? Comedy shows and performing and headliners? Like it's just petty, bro. And it didn't have to get this deep. Now I feel like Monique and DL has gotten to a point where things have been said or alluded to that you can't come back from. And it's unfortunate, right? That they had a good relationship at some point, and now their relationship is permanently, I guess, like damaged, right? Because how do you come back from somebody calling you a coward for not protecting your daughter who was molested? Now, DL Hughley's daughter did say something similar as well, that she didn't feel protected or guided or consoled by her father when those things did happen to her. Now, Monique didn't just stop at DL Hughley. She also delivered an ether on Tiffany Haddish. Now, I wish I could put whatever Monique said about Tiffany Haddish over an ether beat without being copyrighted, because I felt like it deserved to be on an ether beat. It was quick and precise and concise how she ethered Tiffany Haddish. Let's check it out.
So when people question my husband and why is he there, you would hope you would have one like that. I remember our beautiful sister Tiffany Haddish did an interview with GQ magazine, and this, in my humble opinion, is where we keep throwing each other under the bus. You're doing an interview with GQ magazine, and I'm assuming the journalist was a white person. And the conversation turned to Monique. And she said, well, I don't do business like Monique do business, and I'm glad I don't have that husband of hers.
But she don't know your husband.
And when I saw that, it's like, Tiffany, if you had a husband like mine, you may not have 2 DUIs. If you had a husband like mine, you may not be caught up in what looks like you could have been grooming a child. And I say all of that with no judgment. But when you speak about having a husband like mine, you open up the door. And I'm saying to you, if you had one like mine, you may not sit in these positions that you can't explain the next day.
Right.
If I'm Tiffany Haddish, bro, I would just take that lethal lashing, bro, and just go away. Monique, you got it. You got it, bro. Yo, bro, she ether Tiffany Haddish, but yo, she's correct though. The nerves of some people, like, what makes you think you can go on a quote unquote interview and talk about somebody's family dynamic and how they're doing? Right? It's out of line and it's out of order. Right now, Tiffany Haddish has enough issues. She don't want to smoke with Monique, so I doubt there will be seen a response from Tiffany Haddish to Monique. Now, that's about it. Y'all let me know in the comment section, man. What do you guys think, man? People are trying to paint Monique as bitter and angry, but they were trying to paint Cat Williams as a visionary. So if you think Cat Williams was a visionary, why do you not think Monique is bitter? Is it because she's a... In fact, let's not even get political, man. Also, if you're still watching, click on this video somewhere on my screen to find out why Playboy Cardi was ultimately canceled for doing this on Aiden Ross' stream. Click on this video here. I'm out of here, folks. Peace.